Imagine if one day, you were suddenly sucked into your favorite video game and you find yourself transformed into the weakest monster. A monster so weak that you can't even beat a level 1 slime. We meet a boy named Don as he plays a popular VR game known as Azure Sky. His group hunts slimes for the game's 10th anniversary quest. Even though they are easy to kill, they are required to hunt 50,000 of them, and he soon realizes that the quest will take forever. He notices that the slimes are attracted to flowers, so he comes up with a plan. They use the flowers to gather all the slimes into one place, and using magic, they manage to kill thousands of slimes in a single go. His companions call him the best guild leader, and they continue to repeat his plan. At the end of the day, they manage to complete the quest, and they are all given a chest of rewards. His companions are happy with their loot, and decide to log off for the day. When Don checks his chest, he gets an Azure Sky trial card. He can't believe that that is his only reward, and he thinks he is getting scammed. He reads the card, and he learns that it will make him become a member of the Azure Sky. He decides to try it out, thinking that there must be something special about it, but he suddenly gets sucked in by a black hole. He falls from the sky, landing in the middle of a field that is close to the starting village, and he realizes that he's been transformed into a skeleton warrior, which is the weakest and most useless monster in the game. He wonders what's going on, thinking that there must be something special, because it's the 10th anniversary quest reward, so he eagerly checks his stats, only to find he is incredibly weak. He becomes depressed, blaming the game developers for his fate, but he remembers how someone became a hero even after being reincarnated as a slime. So Don becomes motivated, attacking a nearby slime and seeing it as his first step to becoming stronger, but it dodges his attack. He manages to land a kick on the slime, but it seems to have no effect. The slime becomes pissed, sending him flying and crushing him to death with its body. He respawns and tries his luck against the other monsters in the area, but he keeps on losing. Don despairs, realizing that he can't defeat anyone. The slime that killed him approaches him, and he realizes that it's already at level 2, making him feel even worse, because he was the one who gave it the experience to level up, but this gives him an idea, thinking he could gain experience by killing monsters. But he soon realizes he has no chance in a fight, because as a level 1 skeleton, he is the weakest monster in the area. He suddenly hears a pair of rookie adventurers passing by, and he comes up with another idea. He blocks their path, showing off his killer dance moves to provoke them. The boy thinks he could be a hidden boss, as Don challenges them to take him on. The boy charges at him, thinking that he is cocky. But Don runs away, attacking a group of goblins, knowing that it will make them aggressive, and attack the closest player, which happens to be the boy. The goblins start attacking the boy, but Don knows he should be strong enough to defeat them, so he stands nearby as he waits for the boy to kill them, knowing that he will also earn some experience, because he also attacked the monsters. We learn that Don has been playing Azure Sky for 10 years, so he knows his way around the game, and his knowledge allows him to level up, despite being the weakest monster. After he reaches level 5, he goes back to the slime, getting his revenge on the monster, and showing it who's boss. The newbies start talking about the skeleton warrior that has been causing trouble around the starter town, and they call for an experienced adventurer to help get rid of it. The next day, we see that Don has gained 2 skeleton warriors as followers, Bonnie and Fatty. They treat him as their boss, and Don thinks about becoming the strongest being in the game, when suddenly, they are attacked by a level 25 knight named Jake, killing his followers, and dealing massive damage to him. He thinks about how to outwit the knight, but the knight attacks him with his sword, killing him instantly. Don respawns near his followers, realizing that he has lost half of his experience points, and he thinks about getting revenge on Jake. He goes on a quest to reach level 20, thinking that he can get a job promotion at that level, and have a human body that he can use to defeat Jake. He kills the monsters in the area, until he is finally able to reach level 20. Don casually walks to the city for his job promotion, but the adventurers wonder what a monster is doing in the city. They find it absurd that there is a level 20 skeleton warrior, but they have heard rumors about a high-level skeleton through their world channel. Don thinks of them as simpletons, but the guard stops him from entering the city, calling him an unknown monster, before taking him out with a single blow. We meet a girl named Bubbles, who has just joined the game. A tutorial sprite appears, telling her that Azure Sky is an immersive game, which synchronizes with her senses, allowing her to enjoy the experience. It further explains that she can interact with NPCs to receive quests and study in an academy to enhance her job skills. The sprite reveals there are 5 elements she can master in the game, but Bubbles falls to the ground, thinking that the game is so complicated. She is taken to the newbie training camp, where she looks around, enjoying the scenery, when she sees another newbie eagerly rushing to the forest. But the newbie ends up being ambushed by a number of higher-level skeletons, which beat him up. Meanwhile, Don is depressed because he can't enter the city to get his job promotion. Fatty asks him if they can help, and Don comes up with an idea. He gathers all the skeleton warriors, telling them that they are going to raid the wolf plains. Don gives them all books, which turn out to be guides for killing wolves. As the skeletons read it, he thinks about how he can use them to gather the job promotion materials he needs from the wolves. However, Fatty tells him that skeletons can't read. Don looks around, seeing that everyone is still at a low level, and thinks they will be hunted down by players. So he teaches them how to defeat players, explaining that a player needs to be lured into a trap, where they can beat them up and take their stuff. The skeletons like his plan, and he goes on to explain how to defeat wolves, but we see a cat ninja spying on Don, wondering what he's doing. At the wolf plain, we see 3 newbies discussing how they should defeat the wolves, when suddenly they see skeleton warriors killing wolves by continuously stabbing it from behind, which confuses the adventurers, because monsters shouldn't be farming other monsters. An adventurer tries to stop the skeleton warriors, but the monsters look at him, seeing that he is only at level 3, which isn't even close to their level, so the newbie just tells them to have a safe trip. The skeletons return home with the wolves' remains, and they give Don the materials he needs, saying that they even robbed some players along the way. Don is happy, because the skeletons seem to get smarter as they level up. Boney asks him when they will attack the city, but Don tells him that they should foster a peaceful gaming environment instead. He takes the materials he needs, putting Fatty in charge, as he leaves to explore the world. Don explains that the world is vast, and he tells his followers that he will show them the limitless world someday. As he heads off, he thinks about becoming the pet of a beast tamer so that he can enter the city. Meanwhile, the cat ninja continues to stalk him, wondering why he is headed to the pink slime spot. Upon reaching the spot, Don observes the rookie beast tamers in the area, wondering which of them would make a good master for him. He sees Bubbles, as she looks for a powerful pet to capture. She sees a pink slime, finding it cute, so she opens her newbie guide, wanting to know how she can capture a pet. Don laughs upon seeing the book, because it's a guide he wrote 10 years ago to scam new players. Bubbles tries to capture a pink slime, while it's at full health, so she fails to catch it. But she is determined not to give up, and Don takes a liking to her, wanting her to be his master. As she tries to capture another pink slime, Don kicks it out of the way, and lets himself get captured. Bubbles is devastated, and the tutorial sprite congratulates her on her first pet, but she starts crying, because she wanted a cute slime. Don claims he's also cute, but she looks at him and calls him ugly. She reveals that she was traumatized by skeleton warriors when she started out, so she doesn't want one as a pet. Don tries to charm her, telling her that he was once a handsome prince, who fell in love with the enemy's princess, but a war between their nations got in the way. Bubbles thinks his story is cliché, so he tries to make it unique, saying that the princess fell in love with his loyal attendant, who gave him the princess's rejection letter before dying. But the letter was cursed, because the princess was jealous of his attendant's loyalty, so he ended up turning into a skeleton after reading it. Bubbles finds the story intriguing, and Dawn asks her if she will help him break the curse, but she wants to help him find the attendant instead, saying they should be together. Dawn says the attendant is dead, but they can revive him, and Bubbles calls him romantic, wanting to help him. She decides to keep him as a pet, making their way to the city's entrance, where the guard stops him, telling him that pets without a leash can't enter. So he ends up getting a collar, and he finally gets into the city. As they walk around, Bubbles reveals she knows nothing about the game, but Dawn tells her that she can ask him questions, saying she can even treat him like he's another player. But Bubbles laughs at him, saying she can't treat him as a player, because he's just a skeleton. However, Dawn claims that things will change once he gets his job promotion. Bubbles says that they will need a lot of money to make that happen, admitting she doesn't have enough, because she spent all of her money on food, but she tells him she will find a way because she wants to be a good master to him. Dawn realizes that she has a good heart, so he gives her some money, claiming that he already has enough for the job promotion. They spend the rest of the day together as the cat ninja continues to spy on them. That evening, the cat ninja reports to his master, informing him about the unusual monster that he's been observing. The master knows the 10th anniversary quest has something to do with an intelligent NPC, and he finds Dawn interesting because a monster is also an NPC. Dawn shows Bubbles the job promotion hall, telling her to wait for him there while he goes through the process. Bubbles removes his collar, and he enters the hall, where he sees the job promotion statue. He goes to it, wanting to be promoted to a bloodkin as he presents the required materials. The statue takes the materials, allowing him to undergo the job promotion, and he is happy he finally has a human form, but he suddenly receives a system message. Meanwhile, Bubbles thinks about how Dawn told her that he is her hidden quest, but a squirrel approaches her, telling her that hidden quests are difficult to unlock and suggests that she was tricked by her pet. She tells him that her pet is level 20, but the squirrel reveals she shouldn't be able to capture a level 20 monster because her level is too low. So the squirrel concludes that her pet must have allowed himself to be captured, and she is just being fooled by him so that he can enter the city and get a job promotion. He tells her a story about a pet who allowed himself to be captured, only to turn on the player and manipulate him into doing evil. The player was unable to terminate the pet contract and ended up deleting his account, making him the laughing stock of the entire server. The squirrel advises her to get rid of her pet as he walks away with a smile on his face. Dawn appears in his human form, expecting her to be attracted to his good looks, but he becomes confused as his master just stands there looking at him. Bubbles starts crying, and he tries to cheer her up. She tells him about the weird things that the squirrel told her, asking him if he was lying to her. He admits he lied, but he suddenly kneels before her, wanting to be her most loyal knight. Dawn holds onto her hand, swearing to protect her as he suddenly coughs up blood. He explains that he made a blood oath, which is the strongest bond they can create in the game. The game punishes players who break the blood oath, and he did it to assure her that he has no bad intentions. They grab something to eat, and Bubbles is now happy, but Dawn wonders about the squirrel. He thinks about the strange message he received, which tells him he is being watched, and that he must finish the main quest if he wants more answers. Bubbles overhears a conversation about the Godhead entrance exam, asking Dawn about it, and he reveals that the Godhead Academy is one of the largest schools in the game, and she would be considered as a legend if she can graduate from there. Dawn points her over to the registration table, telling her that the first place in the entrance exam will be given hints for the main quest. The main quest is the yearly quest given by game developers, and in the previous year, there was a war because of it, with the winner obtaining the highest grade artifact. He predicts that the main quest for this year is going to be even more difficult, but it should come with some good rewards, making Bubbles want to join. She gobbles up her food and rushes to the registration table as the squirrel continues to spy on them, and we learn that he's the cat ninja's master. They line up at the registration table, where Dawn sees some players from the mega guilds. He explains that mega guilds have more than 100 members and is usually composed of strong players. He reveals that the two strongest guilds are the Shenyuan and the Luminaries, which have members right in front of them. As she registers, she nervously mentions that she is still at level 10, which catches Jake's attention as he calls her a noob. Jake offers to help her out, but she refuses, saying that his face looks ugly. He still insists on helping her out, so Dawn gets in his way, telling Jake that his master is high enough level to participate. Jake laughs, thinking Dawn is too weak to protect his master, and claims that she needs a muscle like him, but Dawn grabs onto his arm, telling him he's all muscle and no brains. Jake pulls out his sword and takes a swing at his head, but Dawn dodges his attack. He tells Dawn to stop dodging, so he uses a spell to freeze the ground, causing Jake to stumble. Jake becomes enraged, charging at Dawn with his ultimate skill, but Dawn summons ice from the ground and disarms Jake with his ice sword. He immobilizes Jake with his ice and throws blades at him which finish him off. Bubbles is impressed, and the man at the registration table asks for her pet's level, and Dawn reveals he is now at level 34. As they walk around the city, Bubbles wonders how he reached level 34, and Dawn reveals that after his job promotion, His level 20 cap was broken, and he instantly reached level 34. At that moment, they witness a robbery. Don knows it's a low-level quest, so it's not worth doing, but Bubbles checks up on the girl, telling him to go after the thief. Don reluctantly obeys, running after the thief, who is even faster than him, so he starts to think that it could be a hidden quest. He freezes the ground, causing the thief to stumble, and he retrieves the stolen goods, but the girl goes straight for the thief, beating him up for robbing her every day. A monster named Hulk appears, and the thief is taken away. The girl treats them to some food for helping her out, revealing that she is always ignored, and that they were the first players to help her, so she seems to have a special reward for them. Dawn thinks they have just completed a hidden quest, and wonders what kind of treasure they are about to receive. But that's where this video ends. If you want to see more of this series, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.